Imagine two people who work equally hard. One becomes incredibly successful. The other? Well, they don't. Did the first person actually work harder? I mean, maybe, but what if something else happened? Today, in this explainer, we're tackling an age-old debate that you see everywhere from hustle culture TikToks to deep philosophical debates. How much of our success comes down to grinding it out, and how much is just luck? We're going to break down the data, the psychology, and the undeniable mechanics of success to figure this out, without falling into the trap of saying it's all hard work or it's all luck.
So let's really think about that scenario for a second. Two identical people, same ambitions, same wake-up times, same exact effort. 10 years down the road, one is a massive outlier, wealthy and thriving, while the other is just scraping by. Our culture screams at us that the first person just wanted it more. But if their effort was identical, the difference wasn't their work ethic. It was something way more uncomfortable for us to admit.
It's the divide between what's in our hands and what absolutely isn't. On one side, you've got preparation, effort, and focus, the stuff we actually control. On the other side, opportunity, timing, and sheer chance. We love to build this hero narrative entirely around the effort side. But if you really look under the hood at how these paths split, it's those external, unseen variables that either act as rocket fuel or a brick wall. The Nobel Prize-winning psychologist Daniel Kahneman sums this up perfectly in his book, Thinking Fast and Slow. He gives us this incredible formula. Success equals talent plus luck. But great success, that equals a little more talent plus a lot of luck. Notice he's not saying effort doesn't matter. It absolutely does. Talent and hard work are your baseline. They're your entry fee. But to hit those wild outlier levels of achievement, luck isn't just some tiny footnote. It is literally the multiplying factor.
Which brings us to part 1, the hard work myth.
Look, Western culture is practically built on self-reliance. From day one, we're told, put your mind to it and you can achieve anything. And sure, that's motivating, but it totally blinds us to the profound role of randomness in our lives. When we talk about luck here, we're not talking about manifesting or mystical energy. We are talking about concrete, definable forces totally outside your control. The economy going sideways, market timing, the literal geography of where you were born, and the random yet vital contributions of other people. Acknowledging luck doesn't mean you just sit on the couch and wait. It just means realizing your effort is operating inside a wildly unpredictable machine.
Take it straight from Scott Galloway in his book, The Algebra of Wealth. Galloway is a massively successful guy, but he's brutally honest about this. He says the biggest predictors of his own wealth weren't just his genius business moves. They were things like being born an American in the 1960s, having a fiercely supportive mother, and hitting the economic cycle at the exact right moment. He reminds us that true wealth and greatness are almost always achieved through the agency of others. You can be the smartest person in the room, but your starting conditions are what set the board.
Section 2, the skill versus luck buckets. So if so much of life is out of our control, how on earth do we make good choices? Former professional poker player and decision strategist Annie Duke completely nails this in her book, Thinking in Bets. She points out that how our lives turn out boils down to just two things, the influence of skill and the influence of luck. She champions this idea of probabilistic thinking, basically understanding that every single decision you make is just a bet placed on a highly uncertain future. You can't guarantee the outcome, you can only weigh the odds.
Duke uses this brilliant visual metaphor. Imagine you're an outfielder catching a fly ball. When life throws an outcome your way, you have to mentally sort it. You've got your skill bucket, that's your decisions, your strategy, your preparation. And you've got your luck bucket, other people, the economy, your genetics. The real secret to learning from our experiences is being brutally honest about which bucket an outcome actually belongs in.
But here's the kicker. The world refuses to connect the dots for us. Life is a lot more like poker than chess. In chess, there's no hidden information, no dice to roll. If you lose, it's 100% on you because you made a bad move. But life is poker. You can make a brilliantly calculated decision, play the hand perfectly, and still lose your shirt just because of a bad break or information you couldn't possibly have known.
Part 3. The attribution bias problem.
Because it's so hard to separate the decision from the outcome, our brains fall into this massive psychological trap. In The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel explains that luck and risk are essentially siblings. They both represent the reality that life is guided by forces way bigger than our individual effort, especially those crazy, unpredictable tail events. But the funny thing is, when we succeed, we suddenly get amnesia. We forget the perfect timing. We forget the teachers and the people who bailed us out. Instead, we look in the mirror and imagine our success stems entirely from our superior selves.
Housel shows exactly how ridiculous we are about this. When we win, we toss that straight into the skill bucket. I'm a genius! I ground it out! But when we fail, oh, it goes straight into the luck bucket. The market was terrible, my boss had it out for me, the timing was just off. We eagerly soak up all the credit for the good stuff while treating the bad stuff as a cosmic injustice. Psychologists literally call this the self-serving bias.
And it gets better, because we completely flip this script when we're judging other people. When a coworker we don't particularly like gets a promotion, what do we say? Wow, they got so lucky. But if they fail, well, yeah, they made terrible choices. There's this great quote from the artist Jean Cocteau, "We must believe in luck, for how else can we explain the success of those we don't like?" It's so true, isn't it?
But this isn't just a quirky human flaw. It is genuinely dangerous. As Morgan Housel warns in The Psychology of Money, ignoring luck leads straight to survivorship bias. Think about it. 1,000 people start companies. Most fail. A tiny handful become billion-dollar unicorns. If we only obsess over the winners and assume their specific strategy guarantees success, we are completely ignoring the silent graveyard of founders who did the exact same things and just got unlucky. And that delusion leads to taking massive, reckless risks after a big win because you falsely believe you control all the variables.
Part 4. Give luck something to do. Okay, so if we can't control luck, and taking all the credit is a massive ego trap, what's the game plan? How do we act strategically in a chaotic world? Well, T. Harv Eker lays it out beautifully in his book, Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. He says flat out, to succeed financially, you have to do something, buy something, or start something. Yes, the universe is unpredictable. Yes, luck plays a huge role, but luck literally cannot find you if you're hiding in your comfort zone. You have to step onto the playing field.
If you pair that action-first mindset with the famous management consultant Peter Drucker's framework on risk, things get really clear. Drucker essentially said that effective decision-makers don't take half measures. You weigh the risk of acting against the risk of doing absolutely nothing. If the upside is worth it, you go all in. Like he said, a surgeon who only removes half an appendix risks the same amount of infection as doing the whole job, but cures absolutely nothing. You either operate or you don't. And this brings us to what is arguably the most powerful strategic metaphor for your entire career. Increase your surface area for luck. No, you can't control where you were born. You can't control the stock market or what other people decide to do. You don't get to control the dice. But guess what? You do control how many times you roll them. You control your skills, your preparation, your professional network, your savings rates, and the sheer volume of opportunities you bravely chase down. To actually pull this off, you need to adopt what Annie Duke calls a routine of truth-seeking. The absolute elite performers out there, they drop their egos entirely. When a pro golfer misses a putt, they don't complain about invisible spike marks on the green. They coldly and rationally analyze their actual skill. They deconstruct their decisions based only on what they knew at the time, carefully untangling a bad strategy from a standard bad break. That is how you continuously build your earning power, by living in reality, not in your ego.
Section 5. The Formula for Reality.
So let's bring all this together. Here are your 5 practical lessons from this explainer. 1. Work incredibly hard. Effort is your foundation. It's the cost of admission. 2. Stay fiercely humble about your wins, because unseen hands absolutely helped you. 3. Build skills that create leverage and give you options. 4. Protect yourself from catastrophic downside, so one bout of terrible luck doesn't wipe you off the board forever. And 5. Constantly put yourself in situations where opportunities can actually find you.
Look, hard work matters a lot, and luck matters a lot. But perhaps the smartest strategy you can ever employ is to work in a way that gives luck something to work with. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a question to chew on today. Think about one massive, trajectory-shifting opportunity that changed your life. Honestly, how much of it was your own preparation and how much of it was just incredible timing?